Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will be discussing a very important topic into how to get into consulting, and we have a very special guest with us who is coming from consulting background. She started as an intern and then she actually got her full-time offer, and she's been working in one of the largest big four companies, consulting firms, and she was going to share her experience like how slowly consulting companies are going into AI and various other things. But before that, feel free to not forget to subscribe my channel, because I am going to bring in lot and lot of amazing people and going to share lot and lot of amazing insights which can help you in your job search. So subscribe to it, like, comment, and share. Thanks a lot, Priya, for coming on my channel, and thanks a lot for giving your valuable advice today. How are
Absolutely.
you doing today?
Doing great. It's a Friday, can't complain. Very beautiful weather today.
Yeah, awesome. So before we start, we would love to know a little bit more about your background, what you've been doing, and it will help the our audience as well to learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been a management consultant at KPMG for over 6.5 years now. I've been with the advisory team throughout my career. I've assisted with the CIO advisory team, and I'm currently part of the technology risk management group. So, as part of my day to day work, we assist clients with both technology and operations risk, and as it relates to cloud migration, whether it's related to technology audits. In addition to that, I also participate heavily within the data and analytics group at KPMG, where I assist them with projects where a heavy data analytics tools are involved, such as Power BI, Ultrix, and I've also been part of the KPMG's innovation team, where they're building out new technologies using AI to provide the same services that we already offer. And I also serve as the curator and the project manager who manages a portfolio of projects related to cyber and technology risk, and we try to bring in AI, ML, and all of these new technology to provide solutions for our clients.
Awesome. No, this is an amazing background. Like, I think someone with the management consulting experience as well as with AI, where AI is one of the most search word these days, most like I have seen people going crazy about AI. So
Yeah.
I am like really looking forward to this podcast today and would love to learn a little bit more about how actually are we seeing the mix of consulting plus AI, and then what is your actually take on AI side. So we would love to
Yeah.
start with, a lot of people are talking about this, like posts are going, articles are going, news channels are talking about it, that AI is going to take our jobs. Like, I mean,
Right.
with chat GPT coming into picture now, GPT-4 getting launched, and everywhere the buzz is going on that it's going to take our jobs. Is it true? Like, I would love to learn a little bit more about this, particularly from you, because you are working in the same space, you know much more, and maybe you can help us learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, in my opinion, it is going to change the way we work, but I don't think it's going to eliminate jobs entirely, right? So,
Mhm.
for for any job that's out there today, there is a human aspect to it. Let's take a management consulting problem, for example. Let's say there's a company that's expanding rapidly and they expect that their sales is going to be 60% up in the next 2 years, and they want to ensure that their entire organization, the technology, the people, the processes, all of it is in alignment to make sure that they're going to keep up with the increase in demand. So what clients do, they come to us and say, hey, here's our current processes. Can you tell us where our issues are and how we can ensure that we are scaling up to the level of demand needed, right? So that's like an example of problem that usually comes to us. In order for us to even begin solving this problem, we really have to understand the nuances of who's the beneficiary of this problem. Is it the company CEO that's going to benefit from it? Is it the customers that are truly going to benefit from being able to scale at such a fast pace? So
Mhm.
we also need to understand what are the different factors that go into it, how many different departments there are. So
Mhm.
AI isn't going to replace us in a sense that we're going to say, oh, here's the problem, go figure it out, and it's going to do everything for ourselves. We do have to intelligently give it inputs and prompts, and kind of also teach it the business aspect, the human aspect, in addition to all of the technology aspect that it's already been pre-trained on. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially what I'm saying is it's not going to entirely replace humans. It will replace several jobs that currently are high risk. There are a few jobs that are at high risk, um, but it's going to be those people who understand how to work with these AIs, how to implement these AIs and integrate it into the work environment, make the process that's already there efficient, how to automate things that are either boring, too time consuming, tedious. These are some of the use cases for AI. I think AI is going to make things much faster. Like, for example, Microsoft 365, they just integrated with GPT-4. So now you can pretty much upload meeting invites and have Word create a whole report out of the meeting invite, which is very exciting. So the pace at which we work is going to change a lot. We're going to be much more efficient, much more faster. Does this mean some of us are going to have to shift our careers in a different direction? Most
Yeah.
likely.
Mhm. Got it. No, I think this was a perfect kind of like sharing in terms of, because like as I said, it's there everywhere in the news. People are going crazy about it and people are just making their own assumptions. So thanks a lot for clarifying and thanks a lot for sharing that. Coming back to your KPMG or management consulting background, I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people who would be listening to this podcast today, they would love to know what is consulting all about, and then in consulting, like what is the right way to get into it, because a lot of times everyone knows about big tech, like people are very clear that roles are, but on the same hand, I would like to know if you can share a little bit more about how did you actually got into KPMG, and then how did you figure out management consulting role as the role you wanted to work as.
So I'll start with the first part. Management consulting is basically it's a variety of professional services that come under an umbrella called management consulting.
Mhm.
This could include technology risk services, cybersecurity. This could include ESG. This could include data and analytics. This could include
Mhm.
strategy and operations. This could include mergers and acquisitions, deal advisory. So there are multiple facets of consulting work that can
Mhm.
fall under management consulting. So, if I were to very briefly summarize and generalize what management consulting is, basically, a large enterprise or a client would come to us and say, "Hey, this is our need. We currently
Mhm.
don't have the resources, knowledge, and experience to tackle this all by ourselves. Since you guys, as management consultants, have seen similar problems in similar industries multiple times, you have a much better understanding of how to tackle this problem than we do because it's a new problem for us, right? Or it could be a recurring problem, like not necessarily a problem, maybe a recurring
Mhm.
um, assistance that's needed. For example, audits are technology audits are examples of recurring
Yeah.
assistance that's needed year over year. So management consulting is very interesting to me because unlike technical roles where majority of your time is spent on you're assigned a task and you kind of just work on your own and you're coding or you're
Mhm.
writing a PRD. So it's very much an individual contributor type of
Yeah.
role where you are provided a task and you kind of go run with it, right?
Yeah.
Management consulting is very exciting in a sense that a lot of times you have autonomy to figure out the path that you want to take. So a customer comes with a problem, you can pretty much come up with a solution on your own, get approval from both your team and the client, and you'll be able to really design the solution for problems and
Mhm.
execute it. And another interesting part about management consulting is that you every day is very different because almost it's highly unlikely that you'll be doing the same thing for
Mhm.
the same client for the entirety of your career. Management consultants usually change projects every 2 to 3 months, 6 months, depending on which teams they're part of. So it's very exciting in a sense that in the past 6.5 years, I've probably worked with about 30 plus Fortune 500 clients, which is very exciting because you get to meet very different people from very different backgrounds, very different industries. I've gotten to travel. I think the last time I counted was like 26 different states over the past 7 years. So it's been a
Very
very rewarding career so far.
nice.
Yeah, so the to answer your second part, how did I get into it? How does one become a management consultant, right? So management consultants can come from various different backgrounds. Um, Especially in advisory, we tend to recruit a lot of folks in finance and those with computer science backgrounds, those with IT backgrounds. We also have some science folks from the sciences that also join us. We have
Mhm.
practices that are dedicated to healthcare. So I myself, I have a master's in biomedical engineering. So I was looking for a career where I'm not just doing research and development and doing wet lab stuff. Usually biomedical engineers, they're either working on research or where they're culturing bacteria, for example, or creating a device. I wanted a role that has more of the human interaction element of it. As a management consultant, majority of our time is spent on meetings, trying to strategize and ideate together. And I love speaking with people. So this was a perfect fit. As soon as I found out that management consulting is an opportunity, is a career that's out there, a career option. I actually interned at KPMG. I applied for an internship with KPMG for the CIO advisory role.
Mhm.
And I at that time when I interned, I had no idea what the job was about. To be honest, I was like, this sounds like a very interesting role. I'd be helping clients, trying to come up with solutions for problems. Sounds exactly like what I want to do. So I applied for the internship. Fortunate enough to get an opportunity to intern there. Loved it, and then I was offered a full time. And so
Mhm.
actually, I did not apply for any other roles after I interned there because I really liked the job. So I took it on, and I did not imagine that it would be a 6.5 year and ongoing journey. But I'm still here, and it's been amazing so far.
No, thanks a lot. While you were sharing your story, which was quite amazing, thanks a lot, first of all, for sharing that story. So, I have one quick question which comes to me a lot as well, being like very active on LinkedIn and so many job seekers reach out to me. Is degree important to get something like this? Like, even you started as an intern. So, what actually makes you get into KPMG or management consulting? Do you have
Yeah.
like a proper degree about, or like particularly targeting this role, or like even I'm a recruiter, I can go into KPMG. Do we have roles like that also in KPMGs?
That's it. That's a really good question. So, do we need a degree? Easy answer,
Mhm.
yes, we do. Why?
Okay.
Because it's one of the requirements in the job listing. So, that's the reason why it is why I say yes.
Mhm.
In terms of whether you'd succeed in a role as a management consultant just because you have a degree, probably
Yep.
not. I would say like it's if I were to design the job
Mhm.
description, I would say bachelor's degree wouldn't probably be a hard requirement,
Got
um, because most of the skills that you need for to succeed in a management consulting role can be
Mhm.
trained. You can be trained on it as long as you have the ability to learn, you have the willingness to learn,
Mhm.
you are capable enough to learn at the pace that's required. I think it's definitely a skill that can be learned. Usually, the skills that are absolutely essential. This is apart from like the technical skills. Depending on which type of management consultant you want to be, there's technical and non-technical roles. If you want to be part of the DNA team, if you want to be a software engineer as part of the advisory team, then of course you need the programming skills. You need to know how certain tools work, like Alteryx, Power BI, Tableau. But besides those, across the board, whether you're technical or non-technical, the skills that are most important is communication. You have to absolutely have good communication skills. When I say good communication skills, being empathetic, being professional, understanding that even when there's a conflict between your management team and internally at KPMG or wherever you serve as a management consultant, or whether it is with a client, just being empathetic of the differences that are out there in ideas and trying to work collaboratively. Communication skills are absolutely key.
Very important. Mhm.
Um, Besides communication skills, a little bit of experience
Mhm.
helps. Usually,
Yeah.
experience of how businesses operate, right? Like,
Mhm.
what are the key roles? Like, every organization would have an audit team. Every
Mhm.
organization would have an operations team, an IT team. Every organization would also have a business resiliency team. So,
Yeah.
just knowing the ins and outs of what exactly is a business comprised of, how do they work hand in
Mhm.
hand, right?
Yeah.
And that would be a business, an overall business acumen
Yeah.
would be very very helpful.
Mhm.
Um, and I would say probably the third most important skill that's needed is the ability to learn quickly, because
Mhm.
every project, every client is different. And even though you might be, let's say, you've been a operations analyst, for
Mhm.
example, right? Like, you've been an
Yeah.
operations analyst for the past 6 years. Every client you work with comes up with a different problem. So learning how their organization works, learning how, let's say, if, for example, we're building an AI tool um, for risk assessments. So if just knowing how, now that we've adapting into the world of AI, being able to learn the how AI works. What does the back
Yeah.
end look like? What does the front end look like?
Mhm.
What does the SDLC process comprise of? Even if you haven't really done certain things
Mhm.
previously, learning things quickly is an absolutely important skill.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, thanks. This is great advice and a great insight. I think you did mention about learning AI, right? So
Mhm.
I would like to know that, like, at this point of time when AI is like one of the buzzwords and everyone is going like crazy about it,
Yeah.
how much importance would you like to tell to the job seekers out there looking for job opportunities? Do
Yeah.
you think that it's kind of mandatory right now to learn AI or to have some like at least basic understanding of things around it, or do you think that we can still survive without learning AI or not having experience in AI?
That's a fantastic question. So there's two things that a person can do. They can either
Mhm.
learn how to use AI, or they can learn how to build AI,
Yeah.
depending on what you want to do. Depending on what your career goals are, you can either choose either of those paths. But I believe that you have to choose between those. In the near future, there's no ignorance. Like, you cannot ignore AI. AI has already been a big part of our lives so
Mhm.
far. Like, if you have Alexa, Google Assistant,
Mhm.
you've already been using AI. If you're using Netflix, Netflix is already using AI to recommend you movies. So
Yeah.
AI is around us everywhere. It's just that we didn't. Um, it's it's been so integral that sometimes we don't notice. It's like, yeah, we have electricity all around us, but only when, like, the power goes off, we realize, like, oh wow, yeah, this is something that's really
Yeah.
needed, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
already become like that. For example, here's part of management consulting tasks that could be
Yeah.
potentially automated using AI, right? We create reports all the time as management consultants, right? Whether it's an
Yeah.
audit report, whether it's an operations report, whether it's an assessment that we do,
Mhm.
whether it's a strategy that we're putting together for a client. Let's say a client comes up and says that, hey, we have X amount of dollars for marketing. We want to make sure. Can you tell us, like, which markets or which demographics to target? We analyze, get all the data, and then put it in a report. Tools like GPT-4 can take all the data in, analyze it, and,
Yeah.
and if it can put things in reports much
Mhm.
quicker than humans can, it's going to really make the work that we do much faster and efficient.
Yeah.
So it's important to learn at least how to
Mhm.
use AI, and which are the right AI tools to use in which scenarios. That's going to
Got
be
it.
very important.
No, this sounds perfect and awesome. I think everyone, whoever is looking an answer to this question, please follow Priya's advice because whatever she said is amazing in terms of whether we should start at least have the basic understanding of AI or not. I think last but not least, I would love to know, like with the current market where so many layoffs, recession, right and left companies are doing, and I mean every day we are hearing a new company is coming out and doing the layoffs. In the current market where things are so bad, how Big Four or consulting companies are doing because a lot of people are looking for a job opportunity and
Mm.
maybe people who are actually working in the big tech companies they might not be targeting the consulting companies. So if you can share a little bit more insights around that, are they still hiring and should people really consider like going out and applying to these companies because that will help a lot of people to actually target the companies which are still hiring.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. As far as KPMG is concerned, we did
Mhm.
have a very minor impact in terms of layoffs and whatnot. We did not have as much of an impact as the tech sector did. However, there are several teams that are still hiring because KPMG, although advisory and consulting work is makes up a good chunk of what KPMG does, there's also
Mhm.
audit, tax, and other services that we provide that are recurring. It happens every year. It's required by the regulation. So
Mhm.
um, we almost those teams almost never run out of work to do.
Yeah.
And especially software engineers who are building tools that are used to perform these audits, that are used for these tax purposes,
Yeah.
they are also not going to go out of job because those are essential tools, essential groups that build solutions that are going to be there for quite a while.
Mhm.
So I would say it is definitely consider applying to KPMG, definitely consider applying to other competing big four or even
Yeah.
other tiers of management consulting firms out there. In my view, it isn't really the company that you should
Mhm.
say, oh, this company has laid off about 10% of their employees. You should figure out first, like, which groups or which projects within a company are essential. Like, for example, if for example this is a super general example that I'm providing. Let's say you're working for Palmolive, right? Palmolive is the
Mhm.
company that makes soaps and whatnot, and let's say Palmolive also makes brushes, right? Like brushes to clean your dishes with. Palmolive, go for
Yeah.
the team that's making the soap because that is their biggest product. It's not going to go away. If it goes away, the company's in big trouble.
Doing. Yep.
So identify what is the company's biggest strength, and
Mhm.
which products are doing well, and which
Mhm.
teams are absolutely key to their business, and try to
Mhm.
apply for those roles because it's highly unlikely that those roles will go away.
Got it.
Um, and and again, like even if companies have laid off, it shouldn't it shouldn't
They.
discourage you from applying. Keep applying. It's a numbers game, right? The more you
Yep.
apply, the more chances you have. So with
Yep.
management, especially with management consulting firms like professional
Mhm.
services firm like KPMG, we have several different projects and teams that are working on recurring
Mhm.
multi-year projects that are going to be there for years. So
Nice.
definitely
Mhm.
encourage everyone applying.
Awesome. I would resonate 100% with Priya. Please don't get stuck with the idea of just applying to big tech companies or companies who are doing layoffs right and left. Start searching out the companies who are still hiring, make a list of it, and start reaching out to people like Priya because I mean, I know Priya through my network and she's very supportive, like in terms of helping the job seekers. I am going to add her link in the description. Please go reach out to her via LinkedIn, via her social media handles, and take out help, follow that what she's saying, and see her journey. I think I really get admired from her journey, especially from a woman, like doing AI consulting and all those things. So thanks a lot, Priya, for coming on the channel for sharing it. I would like to like give you an opportunity to share some like last words to the people listening to you, like which can encourage people because I know the market is quite bad, and on top of it, like so many buzzwords are going on. So if you have any like last words which you would like to share with the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here today. So the last words are never give up, right? Especially in times like this when you feel like the
Mm,
entire news that every time you turn on news or social media, it's somebody that's firing or a bank collapsing. It's a very not so positive environment at the moment. So
mhm,
make sure that you don't get distracted by these news.
mm,
You all you have to do is just be a better version of your past self. So as long
mm,
as you're moving forward in the right direction, just even a small step each day, I'm
mhm.
sure that whatever your career goal, maybe just make a plan, write it in big words, post it next to you, and make 10 smaller steps that you can achieve, and put deadlines next to it. You should be able to achieve it.
Awesome. We loved your positive energy. Again, everyone do go and follow her, reach out to her, and please go and have positive energy in your life, as she mentioned. But again, thanks a lot, Priya, for coming and for sharing these amazing insights.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, Nikita.
Mm.